Thanks for listening to Michigan Mornings on your favorite podcasting platform. Don't forget you can also listen and find other great Catholic podcasts and listen to live Catholic radio with the free Ave Maria Radio app. You can download it now from the App Store or Google Play. The Ave Maria Radio app, it's the app that will change your life. Good morning. It is Thursday, December 5th, and this is Michigan Mornings from Ave Maria Radio and the Ave Maria Radio app. I'm Matthew Handley. Coming up, Dr. Ray has some advice for marriage and relationships. But first, your local weather and this news. Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan will run for governor of Michigan in 2026 as an independent. Duggan has served as Detroit's mayor as a Democrat, but says he thinks he can be more successful without a party label leading the state. He says, quote, "We need a political system that isn't so personal and toxic that it strains your relationships with your friends or even with your own family members." Ford Motor Company issued an endorsement of Duggan a few hours after his announcement. U.S. Senator Debbie Stabenow says she is, quote, "forever grateful to the people of Michigan for the trust they've shown me over these years." She delivered her farewell address to the U.S. Senate yesterday as she prepares to end her political career after nearly 50 years. Stabenow was first elected to the Ingham County Board of Commissioners in 1974 at 24 years old and was elected to the State House in 1978. In 2001, she became the first woman to serve in the U.S. Senate from Michigan. A federal lawsuit against Ottawa County filed by former County Administrator John Gibbs has been dismissed by a federal judge. The ruling by the judge says Gibbs did not have protection under the First Amendment when he was acting as the administrator and criticized the county's legal team. Gibbs also claimed the state's Whistleblower Protection Act was violated with his firing, but the judge says that allegation needs to be proven at the state court level. The federal lawsuit cannot be refiled. Snowplow trucks are out in full force as lake effect snow affects much of the state. There is a new law, however, that you ought to be aware of. It is now required that drivers give at least 200 feet of following distance while the plow is moving. The law is intended to keep drivers and snowplow operators safe when they work on clearing roads. Already this year, a Genesee County plow truck was struck by a vehicle on Tuesday night on I-69. The law does not apply to those legally overtaking or passing a snowplow. General Motors CFO Paul Jacobson says the automaker is ready to shift its strategy of having an all-electric vehicle lineup in the next decade. Jacobson says that will depend on President-elect Donald Trump easing environmental regulations when he takes office. He says they remain in a good position to hit their short-term EV sales target, even if the $7,500 federal tax credit is repealed. Jacobson made his comments yesterday at the UBS Global Industrials and Transportation Conference in Florida. And the 11-1 Detroit Lions host the 9-3 Green Bay Packers tonight at Ford Field. The Lions have won their last 10 straight, while the Packers have won 7 of their last 8. The one game in those weeks they've lost was to Detroit at Lambeau Field, 24-14 on November 3. Tonight's game will be on Amazon Prime. You're listening to Michigan Mornings. Now this. In the Motor City today, we have a chance of snow showers during the commute this morning. Otherwise, it will be breezy with a high of 31. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 19. Friday will be partly sunny with highs around 32. Saturday will be partly sunny with temperatures in the mid-30s. And Sunday warms up with partly sunny skies and highs in the upper 40s. Right now, it is 25 and overcast in Detroit. This is Michigan Mornings. In the Saginaw Valley today, we will have a chance of snow and breezy conditions throughout the commute this morning. Our high will be 29. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low around 18. Friday will be partly sunny with a high around 30. Saturday will be mostly cloudy with temperatures in the mid-30s. Sunday warms up with partly sunny skies and highs in the mid-40s. Right now it is 19 and breezy with mostly cloudy skies in Saginaw. This is Michigan Mornings. Sometimes one side of a couple might overreact to what the other side thinks is a minor issue. A caller on The Doctor Is In asked Dr. Ray for some advice about how to handle her husband who doesn't think their home is organized enough.
In marriage counseling, a sore spot comes up. Typically, one of the spouses wants the other to see reason, to change, to understand the position. For example, in this case, we got 3 kids, 5 and under. What do you expect? You need to adjust your take on this. Now, how long that particular conflict can go on in marriages, it can be years. You need to think differently about this. You need to see it from my perspective. Unfortunately, if all the reasoning in the world, if all the arguments in the world don't change the other person's perspective, that's why I asked kind of heavily, does he show some insight into a little bit of why this might be the case? And she said, yes, that's a good sign. If she were to change what she can change, I mean, she may not be able to get rid of all the messiness. Come on, you got 3 little kids. So if she can make some obvious tinkerings, I would call them, in the mess of the place. If he's a reasonable guy at all about this, he'll soften. He will soften. He'll see that she's trying, rather than disputing him and saying, well, you need to understand this. This happens in marriages all the time, where the other person just won't understand it. And I frustrate myself endlessly because they won't understand it. Rather than, all right, let me see your perspective. Let me see what I can do to meet your perspective.
The Doctor Is In is on weekdays at 1 p.m. on Ave Maria Radio. I'm Matthew Handley. That does it for this edition of Michigan Mornings on Thursday. Lord willing, I will talk to you again tomorrow. Until then, goodbye.